they are injured, and in MCE versus regular injuries, they will be more severely injured. More stay in the hospital days, more surgical procedures, and ICU admissions, and the median length of stay is very high. This is why we need to prepare the adults and the providers and the pediatric providers to be ready to treat. Now Israel, unfortunately, had a lot of wars and had a lot of tragic events, and we learned, and sometimes we learn by blood. So we make mistakes and we change, and we take the knowledge and we build it into guidelines so we can be better for the next event. So it always, we plan, we train, and we save life in peacetime and wartime. So I will tell you a little bit how we do it. So, as I said, there is a conventional mass casualty, there is a natural mass casualty like earthquake, toxicological events, biological events, radiological events. Everyone needs to be ready for all those events. Not only Israel, also Mexico need to have guidelines how to operate hospitals in every event. So we have a steering committee in the hospital that have deal with the equipment, procedures, manpower, logistics, and in Israel, in every hospital, we have one nurse, and this is her job. She's a nurse coordinator for mass casualty. She sees that all the hospital is ready all the time for every scenario. And we have many sites. So when the patients arrive to the hospital, there is a triage site, and then we move them into critical, delayed, stress response site. Many sites inside the hospital needs to be ready. So let's follow. This is the emergency room of Rambam. We get announcement. It can come by telephone or walkie-talkie. If you can see here, we have our procedure cabinet. This is. So we get the announcement, take the protocol, and immediately we open the protocol and start to organize ourselves with the checklists. So checklists, and here is the nurse that open the checklist and start to ask many questions. He wants to know how many patients will come, when, whether toxic material were involved, what happened, what will be their ages. He organizes it, and he give each nurse that work with him one protocol, and this is how we do it. The first nurse see that we evacuate the patients. We want to see that the emergency room will be empty, like you see here, waiting for the patients, because usually it's very full. I think the same situation is at your hospitals. We would like to create empty space so everybody will be ready to work. So we take a doctor and triage the patients. Some of them will go into their houses, but most of them will be hospitalized in the other department, and then we create this empty space, big space, that can hold all the patients. This is a shock trauma room. It's like a big ICU, and we can have 11 beds inside the shock trauma room. We have special equipment for pediatrics, so we need to have 2 admitted areas for pediatrics, for the immediate care, and for the delayed care. We triage the patients in the entrance to the emergency room. The triage is done by experienced surgeon or emergency physician and pediatric surgeon. Together, they basically look at the patients. We don't take vital signs. We only look at the patient's appearance, the walk of breathing, the circulation. We just look at all of it and decide whether it's immediate patient or we need to send him to delayed side. So you can use which triage algorithm you want, and then we go on. The nurse number 2 will call people to come and help us. We need a lot of care providers. For each trauma patient, we need 1 doctor and 2 nurses. So usually if you get 30 patients, you want to have 90 people ready immediately in the emergency room. How we do it? We bring people that work inside the hospital and they are ready to come and help, and we need to teach them. This is why we use nurses that used to work in the surgical department and intensive care, emergency department. They got a trauma course and they are able to help us in mass casualty. For the pediatric, so the emergency, in the emergency room, we have two admitting area, and one it will be separate for the pediatrics, and the staff contains staff from adults and staff for pediatric. No matter which staff come, they have to have the knowledge. They need to understand the equipment. They need to know the protocols, and they need to know the procedures in order to be able to work in mass casualty. So there's a need for equipment that will be enough for everybody. We would like to create all the emergency room to look like big intensive care. So this is why we have storage room. This is a storage room. It's every day being checked. We have everything on trolleys, and see, when we get the announcement, in minutes we take out all the equipment. You see the equipment trolleys. We put them inside the emergency room. If we need equipment for intubation, because we lean on nurses that don't work usually in the emergency room because we need a lot of manpower, so we organize for them in the car. This is, for example, all the equipment for intubation. So that they don't need to look for many places. They have everything organized in advance. For pediatrics, we have special equipment, you see, on the cars, and we have the measurement type and the ages and the dosage of the medication. We call it a Braslow tape. So after we take out all the equipment, we have on the walls signs where to put each trolley. You can see the signs on the wall, and you can see the pediatric equipment that we have in the shock trauma room for every age, according kilograms. We have all the equipment that we need. The recruitment team need to have also pediatric teams. They come and help us, and they are organized to work together. So pediatrics are treated in the general emergency room in a special place for pediatrics with special teams of pediatric people, and again, nurse, surgeon, and another nurse. This is how it looks. The recruitment team, they work together. And this is how it looks in the shock trauma room when we add another bed. So we have 11 bays of intensive care, immediately done, ready. And then we just need all the teams to arrive, as you can see here, and we drill. We have special drill for pediatrics mass casualty. You know, everything can happen. So here you can see a drill with a mannequin, with all the injuries that she has. You can see here how they ventilate and how they organize and operate on the pediatric patients in mass casualty situation. Here I took, it's a short video tape of a hospital, Shaarei Tzedek. I think somebody told me he was in Shaarei Tzedek. And here you can see ambulance that arrive in a drill. And very soon they will check out pediatrics and the adults. The ambulance will stop. Teams are waiting. In Israel, it's obligatory to train every month. Every month we do training. We need to be ready all the time. You see, a baby come, and a mother and a baby will come. They all are listed inside, and they will start to treat inside the emergency department. So you just get a motion of this drill. And what did we learn from the drill? Because children come without a name. They are small, they will not be able to say the name. Unconscious, we must photograph the face so we can help in identification. Because it's a small child, it always needs to be accompanied by a staff member. You cannot just leave him and go. Somebody needs to be with them, and the vital signs and the drugs are so different, so it's important to have all the information for the teams. The second thing we learned is the measuring type and the scale in order to calculate the drug And of course, sedation protocol is so different. Now, if we lean on people that not only from pediatrics, because most of the staff come from adults, they need to use it, they need to know it, and we train them all the time to be ready for this. And this is a pocket cards of injuries in order to train. So because the emergency room is very big, and we need a rotating nurse.